Please stand, actually, let's go ahead and take roll call. Ms. Mary Lou, but before you do, just a couple of reminders to please silence your phones. And this is also a reminder that any individual, whether you're a Gadsden employee or a community member, we respectfully ask that when you approach the podium that you wear your mask. We are following the guidelines as per New Mexico Public Education Department under the guidance of the New Mexico Department of Health. And so, you know, as an educator myself, and I was mentioning to Mr. Dempsey, as our teachers and our students on a daily basis have to wear the mask. You know, they don't get the opportunity to take the mask off when speaking. So I would ask that, we all follow the guidelines of New Mexico PED and the Department of Health. Thank you. May I go ahead and take roll call, Ms. Delgado?
Mr. Cano?
Present.
Mr. Castillo?
Present.
Ms. Flores?
Present.
Ms. Rodriguez? Ms. Viramontes?
Present.
Madam President, we have established quorum.
Thank you, Ms. Delgado. Moving on to the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and the salute to the Mexican flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the United States with Jesus for Ms. Viramontes, can you please read our mission statement?
Yes, Madam President. The Gadsden Independent School District will ensure that all students will learn by putting education first. The district will provide quality educational opportunities conducive to learning that will facilitate students' individual goals.
Thank you, Mrs. Viramontes. Moving on to our Superintendent Dempsey's district updates and recognitions. Superintendent Dempsey.
Madam President, board members, thank you for joining us this evening. The first item we have is a representative from New York Life Foundation, GSSI, and Mr. Sanchez is going to present this item to the board.
Excuse me, I guess we got to start over. But my name is Carlos Sanchez. This is Randy Fulcher. We are presenting a $12,000 grant to the Gadsden Independent School District on behalf of the New York Life Foundation and the El Paso General Office. This was a kind of a little bit of a hard time having to deal with COVID, but we did this in the beginning of 2020, the beginning of that, and it kind of stemmed on all the way up until a couple months ago. But we are presenting the check for the $12,000, and it's, I mean, to go towards helping educators dealing with students with any kind of grief or anything else they're having at home.
We always appreciate our community partners that support us, and thank you very much for our partners to help us with that. Thank you. My next item is just a quick update. I think everybody probably saw this last week. I'm really proud to announce that our GO bond had passed. Mr. Snowdy, if you can go to the next slide. That gives you an idea of the percent. And so what's exciting to me is this is something that for decades has been in place in Gadsden and continues to be in place. And you know, it's going to help us to provide the type of facilities that our kids are going to need and the learning environments that you know, are going to be required to deliver the instruction that we're looking for. So, Sam, if you go to the next slide. I just did a little statement here just to thank the community, the staff, and our parents and community members for supporting this. Gadsden has a fabulous reputation of supporting the bonds, and in fact, we've never failed one. Gadsden has never in the history of the district failed a bond. And I don't take that for granted. I don't say that, I say it with a humble voice so that we always remember that we need our community to support us, and I appreciate their work and just want to thank them all for doing so, okay? Any questions about bond? We will have, now this is a GO bond, every 4 years it comes up. Now we have what's called a 2 mil levy or an SB9, right? That's every 6 years. So in 2 years, we'll be back out in front of voters for the SB9. The SB9 is not as large as this one, but it is critical because it's directly tied to maintenance and support of that nature. This is facility and really remodel, you know, the big projects that we can't, that, you know, we need these dollars to take care of. And I'm also, you know, I mentioned that Gadsden Middle School and Chaparral Middle School we're working on the plans for a significant rebuild, remodel on both of those facilities. And you know, this is not, it was just within minutes sent to me prior to the meeting. ST Middle is right there at the top of the list. It just got released, so we're just a couple years away probably from having all of our middle schools go through significant remodel projects and get them up to par on where they need to be facility-wise. So I'm really excited about that. And then I'll need your help as a board to help us with that, the SB9 coming up in 2 years. Okay?
I just want to make a comment, and I guess
Yes.
the request is if we could, if it'd be applicable to have our marquees thank the community.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely, we can do that. We definitely can do that. Appreciate that. New Mexico Social Studies Standards. There is a hearing set aside, just for clarity's sake, so that we all understand. Gadsden is making no changes. This is not a Gadsden initiative. This is New Mexico Public Education Department that establishes the standards that all children in New Mexico are supposed to be proficient in. And so they haven't been revised since 2001. And so they are up for revision. There's a proposed set of standards, and there's a hearing on this on Friday from 3 to 5. It's a Zoom hearing. It's a Zoom meeting. So anyone across the state who's interested can tune in and listen to the hearing. You can also provide feedback if you have concerns directly to that email address, and they'll review that group that'll review it, and then they're going to make some decisions. Now, I'll also add, the reason why I thought this was important is you hear some conversations around this. You hear some concerns around this from some communities. And so everybody's given an opportunity here to provide their input directly to PED. It wouldn't be to me, but it would be directly to PED, so they would get a chance to review that. And then on the same day, they're actually hearing another rule change specific to local control in school boards. And I'm kind of interested in watching that component. I will tell you that I've spoke to the secretary, and he is interested in some possible legislation that would clarify local control and define that role, and very open to it. And so that's a real different shift than what we had in the past. Now, keep in mind, we're headed into a 30-day session, short session. Any legislation has to be on the call from the governor. But if we have the secretary supporting it, there may be a possibility in it. So while this rule may get established on Friday, it could be changed in statute. So we'll see how all that plays out, but a lot to watch, and if you have an opportunity, there's login pieces. You can use phone number or Zoom meeting if you choose, okay? Any questions about social studies standards?
Madam President, in the one that was listed up there, is that for the social studies standards? That was for that. And then for the local control, is there a different number that will be posted somewhere on our website that?
I can post the whole thing. I believe it's the same Zoom meeting for the entire hearing.
really?
But that's a really good question, and I'll make sure what we post gets you access to all of it.
If we could just put it on the home website?
Absolutely, we can do that. We can do that. Okay. All right. A little update on COVID vaccines. Sam, if you can get me there. Just want to make sure that the board understands that we're really trying to transition away from taking we took a huge, we took the lead on a lot of our vaccination distributions, and we did all those pods, and I think that really was a benefit to the community. I think we're at a different space now, and I think we're ready to transition and let Department of Health shoulder a lot of that. Now, that doesn't mean we won't support them, and we actually, what we've come up with is a way to support them in that, like on this Saturday, some of our staff is going to support them hosting a vaccination clinic for students, from ages 5 and up, at the Anthony Department of Health. So it wouldn't be done on our campus, and of course parents would have to be present to go through that whole process. So it looks like that's where we're headed. Now I'm gonna tell you, we're wrestling with what we're trying to figure out a solution to is meeting the needs of all of our community. So we have some community members that have reached out to our nursing department and said, look, I don't have the means to cover all this. I want my child to be vaccinated, but I don't have all the means to make that happen. And so there are some families we're going to work with directly that says maybe we'll go pick them up, bring them to a facility with their child and get them vaccinated and get that taken care of. And that, so it's going to, I guess I want you to know that that's going to slow down our ability to vaccinate. We did this for adults at a really fast rate. We won't be going at that rate for students, but I think that probably overall is a good thing, and we can all slow down a little bit, and it's less, honest to goodness, it's less liability on us to assume it. And so now the liability is going to sit more firmly on Department of Health, probably where it should. But they don't have the complete staffing to do this. Our nursing department is a huge source of, I guess you would say, for labor for him, because we have so many nurses available to him. So that's something we're working on, and we'll keep you posted on that piece of it. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them as best I can.
I just wanted to make a comment, and I wanted to thank you, because when I first saw the remind message, I had no clue that the FDA had approved it. And just for me as a mother, I think it's very important that parents be present, just in case there would be a reaction, hopefully not. Because, I was thinking, I had mentioned to you, my own pediatrician is Dr. Alcaranza, the health authority of El Paso. He would never allow me to go drop off my son, even with a consent form, and have him vaccinated with his other vaccines. So I really appreciate that parents need to be there. And for those who can't make it, I appreciate, it's their choice, and, providing transportation. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Flores, and I appreciate those comments. I think what I would just really emphasize is, as a community partner, we're truly trying to find a solution that meets everybody's needs. And quite frankly, that probably isn't an impossible task. But that doesn't mean we don't try. And I think when it's all said and done, if we're there as that community partner that makes that attempt, I think we were part of the solution. And I think those are the type of places we want to be if we're truly taking care of our entire community.
Any other questions, comments, or concerns for Superintendent Dempsey? Thank you, sir.
I appreciate it. And our next item is our student representative, and I'll introduce Ethan Garcia, who is a 10th grader at Alta Vista Early College High School.
Good evening, Madam Board President Flores, school board members, Superintendent Dempsey, and guests. My name is Ethan Garcia, and I am a sophomore at Alta Vista Early College High School, and it is my pleasure to present the latest from my school. First of all, we had a very festive start of fall. We had a spirit week that concluded with our fall festival that took place at the end of the day. After school was our fall formal, which took place outdoors under the stars. We had a ton of participation, and it was great to see students socializing in a different environment. After so much time apart, these activities promoted togetherness and unity. For Halloween, we had a costume contest and a pumpkin carving competition during lunch. We also had a lot of participation for these events, and students were able to showcase their creativity. The chess club meets every Tuesday after school with Mr. Almeria, and there are 6 participants. On October 23rd, freshman Christopher Hernandez participated in the Wiggs Middle School Fall Regional Scholastic Tournament in El Paso, Texas. It is the largest regional chess tournament in the area. This was his first tournament, and he won 1 out of 4 games. The next chess tournament will be on Saturday, November 20th at Park Hills Christian Church on Alabama Street in El Paso, Texas. On November 20th. On November 5th, Ms. De La Garza presented in the UNM Diversity Summit virtually along 2 other early college high schools. One from Gallup called Middle College High School, and the other from Santa Fe called the Master's Program Early College Charter High School. The 3 schools were selected for our diverse school population with high percentages of Hispanic and Native American students. The emphasis of the summit was how we serve underrepresented groups of students from 3 areas: the Gadsden Independent School District, the Gallup, and Santa Fe areas. We showcase what we are doing to promote a head start for students in college and how those students are meaningfully supported in the successful acquisition of dual credit. On October 10th, the Science Club took a field trip to Spaceport and Dripping Springs National Park. We were able to take a tour and see the Virgin Galactic and a sneak peek of Richard Barnson's Spaceship Two. In addition to the school spirit events we had, our students were also selected by the Circle Grant Coordinator, Martha Chacon, to present a video to the New Mexico Department of Education of a lesson utilizing the Circle Grant resources. This video shows Ms. Brinegar's English 3 class and how they work collaboratively using discussions to analyze various types of literature Ms. Brinegar exposes her students to. This video specifically discusses a book called American Like Me by America Ferrera.
And that's what I like about this book, because it's very inclusive to different cultures, to different people. And that's like the beauty of it all, of humanity, I guess. Because we all have a story, and therefore we're different. And that difference, because we all suffer in a way with our stories, and that causes human connection. I think that's the beauty of this book, because it talks about people from not only Mexico, but from China, the Philippines, everywhere that you can think about, and it's not limited to just one country. And what I love about this book is that it breaks down and deconstructs the stereotypes that we put on everyday people. We put the stereotype on Mexicans that they're dumb, they're stupid, they're lazy. And with reading this book, you get a new perspective on an immigrant side of the story. And American Like Me also, it deconstructs our opinion or our ideal American. What is it to be an American? And I think the beauty of America is that we're all different. We all come from different countries, but we can all be united under the idea, the banner of unity, the banner of freedom. And that's what it means to be American, not the stereotypical, that's not being American. And that's why we need to include more people. And that's what I like about this book, because it's very inclusive to different cultures, to different people. And what we've really talked about in this class is stereotypes and how that affects us in society. Because societally, we put expectations on people right at a glance. We say, we see you and we know exactly who you are. And this book says, no, it's different. Instead of doing that, give them space to tell them their story. And that's what I really like about American Like Me, because when you read this book, you see somebody like you. You say, that person's like me. And it's not how television or the media always portrays it. It's a new flavor, it's a new identity. And I think this book is very important to that, because a lot of us here, we are of Hispanic descent. And I think more and more, we need to be proud of our culture and not be ashamed of it. And we shouldn't judge anybody just on the color of their skin or the gender that they were assigned at birth, because we're all unique. And like I said, that's the beauty of humanity, because we're all different. And that's what makes us special.
Ask for a plate just in case you didn't finish your meal. So basically what you would do is the parents would take those plates home and save them. One of my fellow sophomores, Bianca Navarrete, was giving an impromptu narration during the video. She had an excellent perspective on the book and how it empowers us to accept our differences and embrace our culture. We also wanted to thank Mr. Cardona for helping us create such an amazing video that was recorded after our Halloween events. In closing, it has been my pleasure to share about my school, Alta Vista Early College High School. And as always, we thank the school board, our superintendent, and all the Gadsden community for your continued support. As a student of Alta Vista Early College High School, I wanted to express my gratitude and appreciation for all the excellent opportunities I had in the last 2 years. The college experience I had gained beginning this semester and throughout my senior year will allow me to continue my pursuit of higher education in the field of engineering. Thank you once again for your continued support.
Thank you, Ethan. We appreciate that, and great video, and it does look like that was around Halloween, and we always like to see everybody having fun, too, right? And it's probably fun when teachers join in, right? Board member report.
Mr. Cano, go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. First, I'd like to start off with we're expecting a great meal. Back in the early October, I attended the national lunch competition that Ms. Maria Guerra had at Gadsden High School. It was awesome. You should have seen those kids were really going at it. I hope next year, when we get back together, to have a bigger competition with other schools. Food is excellent. You guys are going to enjoy the winners. And second of all, I'd like to also send a get well card to Ms. Rodriguez, who couldn't be with us tonight. They went to go visit her today while I was working. I get a chance to go visit her. She's doing great. She's hanging in there. She wishes she was here instead of there, but get well. We'll see you here soon. Take your time in healing. And that's what I've got for tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Cano, and thank you for visiting her. Some of us wanted to, but they don't allow more than one visitor per day, so. Mr. Castillo.
Thank you. I will also like to give Ms. Rodriguez some good luck, get well soon, so she can come and address us here, so cool. Ethan, thank you for your presentation. I knew him when he wouldn't speak, and this is amazing. So great job, dude. I hope you continue your journey, because, man, transformation, good for you, man. Thank you.
Mrs. Viramontes.
I too. Good job, Ethan. Way to represent your school and your fellow students. I want to thank New York Life on their grant to help families, and I think it's for families in need for, like if they have a death in their family, or I'm sure she's working with Rosie, so that's kind of what the grant's for. So I know they didn't mention it, but just any kind of people that are helping out families in need, it's awesome that we can have this support. I want to say Happy Veterans Day to everybody, which is this Thursday. And I think Mr. Cano and Mr. Dempsey are all vets. And I like that people are telling their stories. I talked to one of the principals today, and they had a parade with some vets in the area. And I know at one of the elementaries, at Santa Teresa Elementary, they're doing a whole, sending in pictures and videos and putting together a dedication to veterans in the area. At Santa Teresa Middle School, they have the VFW. They're turning in thank you letters to the service members there. And then all the classes are studying Veterans Day and the history of the flag and the honors. And they also have, there's a couple of schools here, we have partners in education with Fort Bliss and in the military here. So, you know, it's a good time to reflect and to thank somebody that's helped us with the service. So thank you for the Veterans Day. We also have junior ROTC at Santa Teresa next week. They have their inspection, so hopefully I can attend that. They also have at Santa Teresa High School, I want to say congratulations and good luck. Right now, we can finish our meeting right now and all go to the volleyball game. It starts at 6 o'clock tonight. We host the first round against Moriarty. And this is the 6th year in a row that they've won district. And they've gotten pretty far every year in district. So congratulations to the high school volleyball team. Santa Teresa High School football hosted a home game Saturday afternoon and won. And they play way up in the other end of the state on a Friday night, which makes no sense. It should be on Saturday, against Farmington. And good luck to them. This is the first time I think they've met a second round match. And our soccer team hosted last Saturday in the state playoff. They got by the first round, so they were in the second round. They did end up losing 1-0, but they had an awesome season. So congratulations to all those, including cross country. We had state cross country last week, and we had a few students within our district, from Gadsden to Chaparral to Santa Teresa, that all attended state. So congratulations to all our student athletes, to our band at Santa Teresa High School. That I know they placed, let's see, they placed up in, I think Ms. Flores said it last week, up in Las Cruces in band day up there. So, and I'm sure we have other bands that head up there too. Gadsden has a great band, and so does Chaparral. I'm going to attend these Zoom meetings, and I encourage people to voice their opinion. You know, it's the talk, and sometimes if we listen to what they're saying, maybe it's not what we're thinking, but I think we need to voice our opinions on things, and I think it's important. And as long as we can get the information out there. And last but not least, the bond issue. I want to thank all those that voted, and remember that it's not a lot of money. We have 38 million for 4 years. I mean, in a district our size, that money goes a long way. We spread it to every little detail, so we may not get these brand new buildings that you see in other districts because they have much more bond capacity. If you're in El Paso, they're raising your taxes. We just have to renew what is allowed to us. And so even though it may sound, we're thank you for every dollar we get, we wish we could have more, but what we use, we spread the best we can. If I could, we'd have all 3 new middle schools, but we have to use it wisely, and it's for the next 4 years, and so it's very important that we pass that bond, so thank you for that. So that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Viramontes. Again, thank you for joining us this evening as I am holding this tradition. So happy birthday to all our November babies. We are blessed that you are part of the GISD family. Any November babies out there who will acknowledge that it's a birthday? No nobody, but happy birthday, okay? God bless you, and enjoy the rest of your birthday month. Moving on, thank you, Ethan, for your report. And then also enjoy your Veterans Day, but remember that it's not just a day off. You know, please thank a veteran, recognize your loved ones, your friends, your neighbors who served, and thank you, Mr. Dempsey, Ms. Viramontes, and Mr. Cano for your service in the military. Thank you. Again, thank you for our voters who made it out to the polls. Local elections are still important as national elections. Thank you for supporting the bond. And I want to thank, this year I ran again, and you know, unopposed, but I think I still got 97 votes, which is important, which means people believe in what I do and I care about my community. So thank you, Chaparral voters in Doña Ana and Otero County for trusting me to serve our community. I did want to mention, and I did ask Mr. Dempsey to see if it was appropriate. So I did want to congratulate, and I didn't get all the 10 names. There's 10 girls in Chaparral High School that are part of a softball team. And disclaimer, yes, this event that they're going to hopefully participate is not sponsored by our district or the high school, but it's I didn't even know about this. Those 10 girls received a letter. It was sent to the high school, and they're softball players, and the coach is Coach Soltero, I believe, and they were invited to attend November 20th in Glendale, Arizona, to attend what they're calling the College Showcase Camp, which is a one-day event where there's going to be evaluations and instructions from some top college coaches in the area, softball, of course, and it's their opportunity for our girls in Chaparral area to showcase their skills. And so with that in mind, I did want to announce that they're trying to fundraise money to attend, and so this past Saturday, actually Sunday, those of us who are Cowboy fans, as we were losing, I thought, what better way to maybe, because yeah, they were losing, I was like, I need to get away from the TV, so I left to the First National Bank in McCombs, and I had my car washed in my football gear and everything, and we still lost Mr. Dempsey. But anyways, I supported them, and I would ask that you support, if you can, I have a page on Facebook, so you can look me up. So I'll post there. They're going to be selling enchiladas on Thursday, and you've got to get your orders in by Wednesday. So if you'd like to support the 10 girls that want to go to the showcase, please support them. Thank you so much. Once again, thank you to, congratulations to Ms. Evaggio. She did attend Washington, D.C., ¿verdad?, to receive her Terrell H. Bell Award, so thank you for outstanding leadership. And then I know Mr. Dempsey's not going to toot his own horn, but okay, I do want to acknowledge him that during the 2020, we were in lockdown. He didn't get to travel to Washington, D.C. to be recognized for the Superintendent of the Year for the state of New Mexico. So he took a well-deserved trip with his wife, Ms. Lori Dempsey, to Washington, D.C. And so congratulations on that, sir. Aplauso. And I think the last thing I have, two more things. So I have remind too, and it's always going ding, ding, ding. And I wanted to shout out to to the administration of Santa Teresa High School. I hit to see what your announcements for this week were, and I'm like, wow, the school has, so administrators have appointments for Zoom meetings, right, to make themselves available to I think, right, to whoever needs to Zoom with them.
Those are the times we're in the office where we're not.
Office hours. Yes, and I thought that is awesome that, parents can Zoom you all. So thank you for doing that. And the last thing is just to announce to those of you in the audience and those watching on our YouTube stream, New Mexico PED, and if you are a Facebook or a social media person, they did advertise it. New Mexico PED is seeking educators, but also community members to serve in the bilingual multicultural education and Hispanic, and I left. I guess I didn't finish my thoughts, but if you look on Facebook and New Mexico PED and you want to volunteer for that, they're looking for volunteers. With that, I conclude my report. Moving on to item 4, which is our human resource report. That's only for public knowledge. No board action is required. Moving on to item 5, modification of the agenda. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept the agenda as is.
Mr. Castillo has made a motion to accept the agenda as is. Superintendent Dempsey?
So recommend.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes. Moving now to item 6, our regular school board minutes for October 21st, 2021. Do I hear a motion?
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to accept the regular school board meetings for October 21st, 2021.
Mr. Cano has made a motion to accept our minutes for October 21st, 2021. Superintendent Dempsey?
So recommend.
All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Moving on to our consent agenda. Do I hear a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Mrs. Viramontes has made a motion to accept the consent agenda as is. Superintendent Dempsey?
So recommend.
All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Moving on to open forum. Ms. Delgado, do we have any one signed up for open forum?
Madam President, we do have an open forum tonight.
Okay, thank you. Okay, this evening we have Aaron Waffley. Sir, you may step to the podium. And then we do have a time limit of 30, what am I saying, 30 minutes? 30 minutes, Mr. Waffley. So I'll go ahead, I'm gonna go ahead and use my timer on my phone because the hourglasses, sometimes the sand gets stuck in there. And let me just go and read the statement. So personal attacks upon board members, staff personnel, or other persons in attendance or absent by individuals who address the board are discouraged. Presenters are cautioned that statements or representations concerning others that convey an unjustly unfavorable impression may subject the presenter to civil action for defamation, according to the policies as listed in that yellow piece of paper that you filled out, and are provided by the board for disposition of legitimate complaints, including those involving individuals. Good evening, sir, and you have the mic.
I appreciate your time. Mr. Dempsey, I appreciate your time we had in a meeting earlier to address concerns that I addressed the board with. However, during that meeting, I expressed to you that those answers, or my questions were not answered. You provided me with the New Mexico Department of Education paperwork. That continues to change. I noticed on the Department of paperwork, the mask mandate on the page is no longer has the Arizona studies, because those Arizona studies are becoming less and less proven. Also, it's ironic that we use Arizona. Arizona doesn't have a mask mandate in school. My nieces and nephews have been going to school much longer, and my children have been going to school here without masks, without their notifications. I'd also like to point out that the Department of Education likes to talk about science with these masks. I'd like to point out some inconsistencies with the Department of Education and with our with our own board. As I walked in, I noticed that the water fountain is still taped and closed due to COVID. Under the toolkit provided by the Department of Education, water fountains can be open. Why is the water fountain closed? Do I care if the water fountain's closed? I'm pointing out inconsistencies, along with the plexiglass holding up the board. For you, but not for them. I also like to point out that there are members of the board who are wearing masks in direct violation of the Department of Education. On page 17 of that toolkit, you will find that your mask violates it. My children complain of headaches. They complain of being badgered in school by teachers. My youngest son does not like to go to school or PE because he cannot breathe during physical exercise where it is required to wear a mask. There are 46 states that do not require masks. We require masks. For under what reason, nobody knows. The Department of Education, using science, came out, albeit quickly, and said that the football team and all sports playing outside are mandated to wear a mask. That is lunacy. We continue to do the same thing with the same results. We made the cross-country team run their cross-country matches with masks on. I asked, is anybody on the board or in this school district going to defend that policy? Completely asinine. science dictates that we put plexiglass up. But because we can't hear each other, we roll back, take our masks down, and speak to each other. Lunacy. I'm asking the board to stop following this nonsense. Remove the mask mandate and give the parents of this district a chance to govern their own children. The vaccine is available for everybody. If you do not have a vaccine yet, that is your own problem. It is not mine. Moving on to vaccines. The messaging from the school district and the board has been atrocious. How dare you send out a vaccine mandate at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and then convene a private meeting so I cannot get answers? To tell me that they're going to vaccinate children in school without parents present is unheard of. What other medical procedure do we do at school without parents present? Finally, this district and the state of New Mexico separates children based off of vaccination status. The Santa Teresa High School football team is going to get on a bus and drive 8 hours to Farmington, play a football game, presumably get into a hotel room, and then separate our children based on vaccination status.
Mr. Wolfe, I apologize. I did not put it for it to ring, and we're at 4 minutes, so.
Okay, I asked you to remove the mask, right? The masks are a hindrance to learning. Do not continue to separate our children based on vaccination status. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Wolfe. Have a good evening. Okay, thank you. Moving on to action items. There are no action items. Now we're going to move on to discussion items. 10A, Save the Kids Action Network Memorandum of Understanding. Superintendent Dempsey.
Madam President, board members, I believe Ms. Barciaga is going to help us present this item.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, Mr. Superintendent. It is my privilege this evening to introduce Ms. Marisol Diaz from Save the Children Action Network. Tonight, she will discuss a new partnership with our PK department. We are confident that this new collaboration will bring many opportunities to our families and students. With further ado, Ms. Marisol Diaz.
Thank you. Good evening, Madam President, school board members, and Mr. Dempsey. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here today to talk to you a little bit about our future partnership. Save the Children is an international, a global humanitarian aid organization currently in over 120 countries around the world. We are a lot of times the first agency in and the last agency out, doing everything we can for children to ensure their health, safety, and well-being. Domestically, what we are doing is working to ensure that children have quality education, early childhood education, that they have nutritious meals, that they are safe. What we have been working on with school districts across Doña Ana County is to raise and elevate the voice of parents and families to ensure that they understand how to better advocate productively for the needs of their children. Save the Children Action Network's goal is to work with families in a different way, to bring them together in a space where they feel that they are supported, to advocate for those needs at the local, state, and national level. We have programs at the state level where parents can become leaders in advocating for their children's educational, nutritional, and safety needs, and also in Washington. So we're really excited to bring this program to Doña Ana County. This family engagement program is only one of 3 that has been launched nationally. This program aims really to bring parents to the forefront and to ensure that we are listening to them, to their needs, and again, productively finding ways to support them. Now, this program does not aim in any way to challenge any of the work that's already been done. We recognize there's been so much done by family advocate agencies and school districts across the state and the nation. What we look to do is fill a gap, be of added value to the schools, to charter schools, to families, to early childhood education centers, etc. So we're super excited to be formalizing the partnership with Gadsden and uniting the work that we will be doing with your early childhood program with that of Las Cruces Public Schools, and hopefully using those relationships to also build a relationship in Hatch so that we are inclusive of parents across Doña Ana County, and making sure that, again, we're advocating all we can for our children. I stand for questions if you have any.
Go ahead, Madam President. Okay. What, is it staff that you do for these things, or are you talking financial? I mean, what is the position that we're working with here?
Sure, I understand. So right now, what we've been doing since July when this program started is really identifying the geography of what it looks like in Doña Ana County in terms of family engagement, programming, what are the needs and resources, and where can we fill a gap. So where we are right now is that we've formalized some of these relationships with different organizations, and we've actually identified a gap in just 3 months. What we realized as agencies is that there are collaborations all across the county of agencies that come together to provide services or engage parents for different reasons, different activities. But what we're missing is a parent group, a parent-led group, so that parents can talk, decide, and advocate. And so I would obviously be the staff to support this program. We're barely just planting seeds to figure out where this will go, to plan for it so that it's appropriate. And hopefully, maybe in a year and a half or 2, we will start to see some fruition of parents mobilizing on their own to support some of these other agencies, but also to really become engaged in their children's education.
Okay, so like you took a snapshot of what we're doing already, you're finding out what we're missing, and you're looking for those holes to help fill in. And right now you think it's parent groups or parents right that way, right? Okay,
Yes,
starting with the pre-K group, and then hopefully they'll work all the way through, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Gotcha.
And so right now, we're just starting, right? So maybe perhaps in the future, there are some funding opportunities that we can look for. Maybe there are some growing, staff, or, as we formalize what this looks like together, because that's the other thing too, right, is that Save the Children Action Network wants to build something that is reflective of community needs. And so as we build, we will.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Any further questions? Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, moving on to discussion item 10B, quarterly budget report for the month ending September 30th, 2021. Superintendent Dempsey.
Madam President, board members, Ms. Martinez will be presenting this item.
Good afternoon, Madam President, members of the board, Superintendent Dempsey. I bring to you the quarterly budget report for September 30th, 2021. Operational fund revenues as of September 30th, 2021 were $32.1 million. Expenditures were $25 million, which represent about 14.21% compared to 14.27% from the 2021 school year. The Operational fund cash balance after temporary loans was $55,015,934. As of September 30th, 2021, the district, the head and other agencies owed the district approximately $9.5 million for current year grant fund expenditures, $1.9 million and $1.9 million for student nutrition. Total revenues for all funds were $42.9 million. Total expenditures were $50.7 million. Direct instruction expenses plus encumbrances were $70.6 million. At the last board meeting, Ms. Hernandez had requested that we break out that $9.5 million of grant fund reimbursements due. So if you scroll down, that right there is our summary of internal view, and we have to provide you for that's the process after that approval for procurement transfers. So if you continue to go down, I think it's probably the fourth, the fifth. Right after that. Okay, so here's the breakdown of outstanding reimbursements for the fund. And so one of the things I'd like to point out is just that, we scroll down to fund 24308 as our SRG fund, you can see how we have $6.5 million outstanding. We have received most of it, currently right now we have one report for $82 million, $2 million outstanding, but that was our resolution.
Madam President, can I ask one question?
Yes, ma'am.
And in the SR, because I know there's certain guidelines, and do a lot of things get kicked back for redescription? Is that why a lot of it get back later too? Because I know anything to do with federal funding, they constantly question, making sure you put, I know it's a lot of work for your department.
It has been a lot of work. They do question everything, just like they always have.
Right.
And so, yes, we do get a lot of questions, but we have been working with our program directors, and we're getting those turned around fairly quickly, but, sometimes the general time.
So a lot of it, because this is September 30th, so a lot of it as of now has been coming in.
A lot of that has been turned around. As of now, for that grant specifically, we have actually $1,130,000.
Which will bring the expenditure up from what, right now, the ratio between revenue and expenditure is a big difference, really, so. The other thing is, thank you for putting on the compensation enhancement on the agenda. Thank you very much for making a bar and putting it on there, so.
Any other questions, comments, or concerns? Thank you, Ms. Martinez. Okay, moving on to, I guess, closed session. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion that we go into closed session, personnel session pursuant to 10-15-1H-2 and MSA 1978, as amended for superintendent and associate superintendent's report on recent personnel actions and issues, employees on administrative leave with pay, employee grievances, and employee issues.
Mr. Castillo has made a motion that we enter into closed session. Superintendent Dempsey?
So recommend.
Ms. Delgado, can you please take roll call?
Mr. Cano?
Aye.
Mr. Castillo?
Aye.
Ms. Flores?
Aye.
Ms. Viramontes?
Aye.
That motion passes. We are now in closed session.